that was asked in the chat by Ethan. So, a succubus, how does it happen? I'm going to read the question again so you'll know what I'm answering. So, do people become a succubus energy? If so, then how to transmute that energy? Is it an entity or someone just takes on low vibration energy? So, what happens, someone can become succubus in two ways. The first is that their energy levels are so low and so weak, either by extreme depression or trauma or tragedy. Something happens that makes them lose trust in the divine and God and completely close off in a way that they no longer, the receiving energy from the universe or from God, the life force chi, is blocked. Now we all have this crown chakra that is open to either dimensions and to our higher self, to our soul, to our extension, right, of the divine. And when that's where we receive most of our life force and energy. And we still need energy either way. So if that is blocked, there's a clog there, or there's no connection, no flow, we still need to get that energy somehow. And that's how a succubus gets created. They have to take energy from another. It's like an endless pit, like a dark hole. Like they just suck on your life, and it feels like it feels very draining and very almost energetically killing, because we get a lot of energy from our higher self and from the divine. Most of our energy, right? Now, of course, the body is fed and nourished with food and water, and that's important. But the thing that makes us tick and really go, the spirit, that's from there. And we need a lot of it, and we get a lot of it. And when it's blocked, we still need a lot of it. So succubus people, or people who get to this point, will find people who are sacrificial or super empathic, empathic but without healthy boundaries. I should be giving unconditional love and never judge. That's the shadow side of this approach. And so they find, so succubus energy. Now, a succubus person doesn't know they're a succubus. Many of them don't mean harm. They don't know that they're hurting other people. They feel hurt themselves, and they actually feel entitled to demand or to take or to claim. And often they're not going to say it in like, I demand you to give me my energy. They're not going to say it like that. They won't like the sound of themselves saying that at all. They often they're not aware or won't admit it to themselves, but they'll take from you in manipulative, vicarious ways. It will just feel like nonstop exhaustion. A lot of narcissists are like that. So there is room to heal from there, of course, and reopen the connection with source and unclog the clog. But it takes a journey and work, and it's not something you should sacrifice yourself for. And by feeding them, you're actually depriving them of healing, because as long as they get their source of energy from other people, also people who eat a lot of meat, by the way, have that in common. They feel the need to, when you feel like you're getting a lot of energy from meat, from dead animals, and you're like, well, it feels so good, so it must be good. When you feel like you need when you feel revived by another earthling's energy at the expense of another earthly, that is also succubus energy. People who are in that state, who feel like they need meat in their diet, a lot of it, because biologically we don't actually need meat, the human condition. People don't know that. Obviously in biology they're not going to talk about it because this is energy knowledge, but it's like, I need the life force of another entity, of another creature, because I'm not getting it from the divine. So some people take it from other people. Some people take it from animals by eating a lot of them. Okay, and I know that's something a lot of you don't like to hear, but that is also succubus energy. Okay, and some of them do both. Okay, so that's one way it happens. Another way it can happen, because I said there's two ways, another way it can happen is actually an entity. that now the cause of this is the same cause, being in a very weak, low energy state, either from trauma or tragedy or extreme pain or sadness or ongoing depression. So it makes room, right? Because you become someone in need of being filled with energy. So it gives room for entities that can take advantage of that, and they take advantage of the space and of the weak boundaries and the despair, very Voldemort like, right? You know, the demons of Voldemort that feeds energy in Harry Potter. So it enters you and takes over the body. Now, it's not like a zombie ant, okay? It's not like the person is not the person. It's not like there's a demon inside of them and they are gone. They're very much present, but there's another energetic entity within them. And that, how can you tell that? Fungus. You know you have a parasite that is feeding on you, and that could cause you to feed on others because it's them feeding on others through you. They're kind of connecting to other people that they can take from energy from through you, through your avatar, right? And a sign of this, if you have fungus, very stubborn one that doesn't matter how much you resolve it, you know, with medicine or whatever, the chronic one, that's a leechy energy. Now, don't freak out. All of this can be resolved and all of this can be healed. It just takes work. You need to fill yourself with absolute ongoing love, self-love, and exterior love, not in a succubus way, because that's why succubus and people feel the urge to take from others, because they need that. So when I say fill yourself with love, start, okay, first of all, watch my 13th element legendary video, narcissist versus empath, the triggering truth. Okay? Search in my 13th element playlist, narcissist, empath, it will come up. Super important. I talk about that too over there. What you want to do if you have fungus, or if you, or regardless of fungus, or like if you feel like that's something that you might have, like a leechy entity that creates a succubus, you know, characteristic. You want to love yourself first. Don't rely on love from other people. If someone gives you love, accept it with grace and gratitude and love. Don't ask for more. Be like, thank you so much for what you're giving me. Do not try to get more. Whatever they give you, accept that. But don't seek for it with other people. To yourself with affirmations, with shadow work, with loving the inner child, with resolving, with standing up for yourself. It's super important. Situations where you're taken advantage of, you have to stand up for yourself, because when you don't stand up for yourself, and when you don't set up clear boundaries, you make yourself weak. You sacrifice yourself, and that echoes the aspect of sacrificing yourself, and that just gives more to whatever is feeding. It might sound scary to a lot of you. It's actually very common. People just don't know that that's what it is, and then they get stuck with chronic illnesses for years, or they just or they're super toxic, and people keep abandoning them and not wanting to be next to them. It's because, and then they feel like they're the victim. Oftentimes it's because they're succubus, and they just drain the life force out of people who start great because they feel like they want to be next to them, and then they realize, oh my God, it's too much. So what else can I say about this? So yeah, that's basically the two ways succubus can be created. It's not your, if you're in love with the succubus, it's not your love, your love. It's not your job to do this for them. If anything, you'll just sabotage them more. If you feel inclined to send them this part of the video, do so. Yeah, and of course do also the physical things, because eventually the fungus, the physical fungus, is real. It's a manifestation of that energy, of that entity. So you can't feed it energetically, and you can't feed it biologically and physically. So cut the sugar, right? Cut the really bad wheat, especially in America. You know, eat clean. meat really supports fungus. It's like, it's acidic environment. It just prospers in that environment. The more meat you eat, the more prone you are to fungi. It all works together. It's death. Fungus love death. What? It's really, I'm not that brilliant. It's really, it's kind of, it's just a matter of simplifying things and understanding them as they are, not trying to overcomplicate things, and just honoring things as they are and just making the analysis from there. Ethan, very informative. I naturally steer clear from people like that. I'm a vegetarian. Meat eaters are somehow offended when I tell them that. They're not offended. They're triggered because, well, if you actively change your habits to not hurt animals, then in relation to that, what does it mean about them when they're eating meat? So they're triggered about themselves, realizing that maybe they're not as animal lovers as they claim themselves to be, but they won't admit it to themselves, so they rather project it onto you. You're the bad guy, you're the strange guy, and they're fine and they're normal. It's also a lack of awareness. All right, guys. So on that note, I hope this was helpful. Share with your friends, especially this last part. Maybe I'll make a video. Maybe I'll cut this part and edit it into a video on its own. Check out the channel memberships. It's really great. Hope to see you there. Thank you for being here. Stay magic, stay true, and I love you.